Okay, I would like to help you understand how your city develops its budget. We always hear about them, and often this can feel like another language altogether. Before we get started, there is important information you should know. Ontario cities like Greater Sudbury receive only 9% of all taxes collected, but are responsible for over 60% of the infrastructure. That infrastructure wears out over time and needs to be replaced if the service is going to continue to be provided. Let's start by looking at what the word budget means. Simply put, it is a planned, itemized summary of money that is coming into the city and how that money is spent for a specific period of time. It is very important to note that provincial government legislation in Ontario states money coming in equals money going out, also known as revenue equals expenditures or a balanced budget. The City of Greater Sudbury provides more than 60 services to the citizens of Greater Sudbury, so City Council and administration always have to make difficult decisions to ensure this balancing takes place. There are two main components of the budget when looking at the money going out side of the scale. Operating pays for all the day-to-day activities of the organization. This includes items such as salaries and wages, utilities, supplies, fuel, and insurance, just to name a few. The capital budget pays for all the new big investments or the rehabilitation of current assets under the city's control. So let's focus on how the city collects to pay for all these services. For every dollar that comes into the city, 46 cents comes from property taxes, 23 cents from grants and subsidies, and 31 cents from user fees and other sources. So, now we've learned what a budget is, how cities collect money, and how they spend it. Now let's take a look at how these pieces work together. Money comes in through property taxes, grants and subsidies, and user fees. The money collected is required for both the operating and capital budget. We've already talked about the operating budget, including day-to-day expenses, but it also includes money for funding capital budgets. The capital budget pays for investments in our city's infrastructure, assets and equipment that are expected to last for many years into the future with proper annual maintenance. We pay for the capital budget items with a combination of three sources of funds: an amount allocated from the annual operating budget, reserve funds set aside in prior periods specifically for capital expenditures, and debt, which will be repaid by future years' annual property taxes. Okay, so let's recap. 1. A budget is a plan for money coming in and money going out. There are two building blocks to the city budget: operating and capital. 2. The operating budget is like paying your house bills to keep the lights on. Just like a normal household, the city's costs are subject to inflationary increases. 3. The capital budget is like your major outlays: vehicles, house, renovations, etc. 4. Money comes in from three sources: property tax levy, user fees, and grants and subsidies. 5. Money coming in is used to deliver over 60 services to city residents. 6. City Council, with input from administration and the public, decide how to best balance the city budget, guided by provincial legislation.